Local businesses took some time to celebrate themselves at the annual Chamber of Commerce Business Excellence Awards. Jace Mackey shows us the sights and sounds and the winners.
It was a night of glitz and glam, food and recognition during National Small Business Week.
Congratulations to Dawn Interiors and Fashions.
From the Integrity Awards to Employer of the Year, 13 awards were up for grabs. Rice Cravings took home the Customer Service Award voted by the public.
With their effort and time to nominate us, it's a big bonus for us, for our restaurant.
Opening their doors weeks before COVID-19 was declared a pandemic, they credit their customer service for helping them through a difficult time.
It doesn't matter if there's a pandemic or no pandemic, give your best service ever and biggest smile.
T-Bar One Transport was named Business of the Year. Owner Stephen Newman was surprised to receive the honor.
We came here for the supper. We weren't expecting.
This award is meaningful after navigating through some tough years for the oil and gas sector.
And we've had meetings where you went, oh, is this worth it kind of thing, eh? But tonight makes it worth it.
For the first time, the Women in Business Award was given out. Owner of Can Do Auto and Lube, Lindsay Sedgwick, took home the top prize.
To recognize women in business and our contributions to Lloydminster and our province is just incredible, and it's showing that women can be successful raising children and having careers.
She offered advice to help other women persevere who are facing adversity in business.
There's always going to be those that try to discount your credibility. My message to you is to keep going anyway. You have a vision that others do not, and if you want to do it while wearing heels, well, that's just the icing on the cake.
For Primetime Local News, I'm Jace Mackey.
A bylaw to formalize the taxation of student dormitories within the city of Lloydminster was brought forward during the city council meeting earlier this week. During discussions, some councillors were cautious about exactly how the taxation would work since it's dealing with a large institutional property.
End of the day, none of my questions really had any bearing as to whether or not we still had the ability to levy taxes on those specific properties. And really we're just formalizing what was already being done through a bylaw. It was a clear understanding between Lakeland and the City of Lloyd that there would be taxes paid on those properties, with exception of no education property taxes.
In regards to the taxation of student dormitories, that decision was actually initially made back in 2001. However, a mistake was made because the bylaw needed to be updated, and it never was.
So what administration brought it forward today, bringing it forward for information, and I suspect we'll see it in the near future at council to start the process regarding that bylaw, simply to clean up our bylaws, something that we heard from the governance report. We're continuously working on bylaws, policies and procedures and ensuring that they're updated.
The crops have been harvested and Halloween is just around the corner, which means flu season won't be far behind. I went down to a local pharmacy to find out what you need to know about this year's flu shot. I'm here with local pharmacist Pratik Patel. I hear the flu shot is now available both in Alberta and Saskatchewan. If someone's interested in getting a flu shot, what do they need to know?
They just like influenza, right? It's the virus. I think how the situation in Canada in last 2 to 3 years, how the COVID-19, I think 1 to 2 decades ago, it's exactly same situation like influenza too. It's a flu shot, that's common word, but it's the vaccination against the influenza A and B virus. It is good to have these vaccinations because it will prevent you from having major complications by having sick, such as like particularly this month where the influenza virus will be active mid-November to the end of the April. That's why both the government, Alberta and Saskatchewan, have their plan to vaccinate majority of the residents before the season start, so that less people will fall sick and it will have less transmissions among the community in order to people get sick from the influenza virus. So both the government has opened their doors to go and get the vaccinations, majority of the people choose to go to their local community pharmacy and get the vaccinations. This year, the government have brought two different kind of the vaccinations, that one for the seniors and one for the age from age 5 to 64-year-old.
Okay.
So particularly the vaccination for the senior, they have a little bit extra boost inside because of depend on their immunity and everything's like that one. So it's just simple. You go to your pharmacy, ask for it, and they will give you a form to fill out. The questionnaire, you will fill it out. Whatever the questions you have, they will be answer your questions, and you can get your shots.
Well, that sounds like a really simple process. I think once we're done having a chat, I think I'll get one today as well. And is it available today across all of the pharmacies, or is it a bit of a different rollout depending on where?
It is available. Majority of the pharmacy who are participating in both the province influenza program, like the immunization program. Here at Sunrise Pharmacy, we do offer walking service. Anybody can come. We open 7 days a week, so they can come anytime after their work, before their work, whenever they have a holidays, whenever they have a day off. So it's a simple process. They have to fill out one just questionnaire forms, and the pharmacist will give them influenza vaccinations.
Well, you know, that's really not that bad. For Primetime Local News, I'm Ian Tidswell. Now with your first look at weather in the region, here's Shelby Clark.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ian Tidswell. That was a great story there beforehand. Love seeing that you actually went and got your own flu shot there. I know many people are pretty scared of those needles, so it's good to see that you're showing it's no big deal there on camera. That's some brave stuff. Now switching over to our weather forecast here, taking a first look here in the border city. Unfortunately, we are cooling down quite a bit. What we kind of expected, we are seeing this, on the 7-day. Earlier on in the week, we saw some beautiful days earlier on as well. We started to cool down, especially starting yesterday. Now we are still at that single-digit point with that 9 degrees, and that was the highs that we have been seeing here today in the border city and most spots in the surrounding areas. We are seeing a mixture of some sun and cloud, and haven't been seeing too much sun, but hopefully everybody's still enjoying their day, because we are having that fall season. We knew it was going to be coming, and it's better than winter, so I think everyone's still enjoying it and just layering up when needed to. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, like I was saying, most spots matching with us here in the border city, most sitting around 8 and 9 degrees over on this side. 7 for Bonnyville, St. Paul, and over in Edmonton, all to 6 degrees up in Lac La Biche. So all spots are just sitting at that single digit as well over on our Alberta side, so definitely have cooled down quite a bit. So to go over to our Saskatchewan side, they are seeing those single digits as well, seeing between 7 and 9 degrees. We go a bit lower to North Battleford and Macklin. They are reaching just 10, so they are just seeing that 10 mark, seeing a couple double digits in sight over on our Saskatchewan side, although they are still seeing the same conditions as what we are looking at here in the border city. And for North Battleford, they will be going down to low of -3 for their evening low tonight. So we will be seeing those minuses coming up here. So they will be seeing those that -3 tonight, partly cloudy. Will be cooling down quite a bit, but not seeing those minus double-digit temperatures just yet. So cooling down from what we are seeing lately, but not too bad. Seeing that 7 tomorrow for North Battleford for their Saturday, and seeing a little bit of rain and drizzle throughout the day. So just be prepared. It's going to be a gloomy day in North Battleford starting off their weekend. Cold Lake will be going down to low of 0 for their evening low. Seeing that rain starting up in the evening instead for tonight. So seeing a lot more cloudier skies as well throughout the evening. Then tomorrow, Cold Lake will be seeing 7 throughout the day, but they will be seeing a mix-up from what North Battleford is seeing. They'll be seeing some morning shower in some spots, but they'll mostly be seeing a mixture of some sun and cloud, but still seeing that same temperature, so cooling down quite a bit. Going here in the border city, we'll be going down to that low of -2 with partly cloudy tonight into our weekend, so cooling down as well. And tomorrow, unfortunately, like I said, we'll be seeing kind of a gloomy weekend, so we will be looking at 6 tomorrow and seeing a little bit more rain, so just be prepared and make sure to bust out those umbrellas. And now looking at some weather photo submissions from everyone. Once again, thank you to everyone that submitted some glorious photos this week. This was from Sydney. I love Sydney's photos. You submitted quite a many this week, and this one's of Loon Lake. Absolutely gorgeous shot. Love seeing that pink in the sky. This was from Karen of Bud Miller, classic Bud Miller shot. Love seeing those. This one is from, I think it's a Becky's. Sorry, don't really know how to pronounce it. This one is from Upper Man Lake. Great, beautiful shot of all the trees. And ending off, this is classic Carol. Glorious shot of all the fall trees. That's all I have for now. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Today we have Matt Struthers for the final time of this year, and not until next spring will we hear from him again. But today we have Matt Struthers for the crop report, and so thank you so much for being with us again today, Matt.
Oh, of course, anytime.
So you guys released your final crop report of the year, and it gave us some detailed information on the yields and overall the crop across Saskatchewan. Can you tell me a little bit specifically about the Northwest area, especially here in and around Lloydminster?
Yeah, no, the Northwest region had a much better year this year than compared to the 21 season. They started off with a bit more moisture in the spring, and that they also had some timely rains, and that really helped that crop just maintain itself and keep its yield potential quite high. And then when harvest season started, there was a bit of a delay just with that delayed seeding in the spring, delayed a bit of harvest, but overall it went very smoothly. The weather dried up the second half of August going into September there, and that's exactly what producers needed, and they were able to get all that crop off. When we look at yields for the region, much better than last year. Most producers are either at average or above average. Of course, there are some drier parts of the region that were slightly below average, but thankfully that wasn't on a large scale across the whole region. And same goes with quality as well. Most crops are grading out in the top two categories, and that's a very good thing to see as well.
And then we've talked all throughout the year, but just looking at all the other regions so far, have most of them been better than the 2021 season? And overall, are they looking closer to that average, especially compared to last year?
I don't want to paint everybody with the same brush, but certainly there's a large improvement across the province, especially in the east and up into the northern regions. Of course, that west, central, and southwest part of the province just got hammered again with those dry conditions and the grasshoppers and the gophers. So hopefully that cycle can break for next year, and they can get back into the moisture and have much better crops than they've been seeing. But yeah, overall, I would say that the season was good. With the good yields that we're seeing in the east and into the north, and then not so good in the west, central, and southwest, it kind of balances out. So I think it was a good year compared to last year. It could certainly be better, and I hope next year is that perfect year.
I know we haven't really been getting a lot of really cool temperatures across Saskatchewan yet, but were there any major parts of the province that just weren't able to get the crop off in time, and unfortunately it fell due to poor rain or a frost or something that caused it so that unfortunately producers couldn't get it?
No, not. We've been in our report. We didn't report on it because it came back as zero. But there's very little crop that's left out. Especially down here in the south, most producers were able to get to it quite quickly, and then same with the central and northern regions as well. We didn't have any major rains, and thankfully we didn't have an early snowfall, and those are the two things that producers mostly worry about when it comes to a delayed harvest. So for a moment there, early September, it kind of looked like we might have a long harvest, but thankfully the weather dried up. We did have some kind of heavy dewy, kind of foggy mornings out in the east, especially the east central, kind of around the Yorkton area. But that just delayed harvest until the afternoon when the sun could break through, and producers were able to get that crop off. Now, most of the crop is off in the province. There is a bit of flax still left out, and that'll be picked up. It's just that flax, producers kind of wait as long as they can before they pick it up, just because it's quite a hardy crop.
Now, with most crop producers kind of being done getting their crop off their field and into their bins, kind of what is next for crop producers right now? Of course, they're going to be trying to sell their crops, and I know you don't really have the prices super well known, but kind of what is that looking for? Are crop producers looking forward to a very successful fall here?
If they finished harvest, they'll be doing a whole lot of jobs, getting ready for the winter. Hauling grain, like you mentioned, to elevators. Whether that's last year's crop, getting room for this year's crop. I know there's a lot of for those producers who saw an increase in their yield, there's a lot of use of grain bags out in the field. So they'll be going out and picking those up now that they have room on farm, or they've marketed that grain as well. And then, like I said, a lot of other jobs on farm. Same with livestock producers. They'll be hauling bales either from their fields or from other producers to shore up their winter feed supplies. And then also moving those cattle home or hauling water and whatnot. So lots to do out there, and unfortunately, it never really stops.
Hay, we've kind of been we mentioned it here and there, but hay yields were mostly pretty good across the province. Of course, the southwest was a little harder, and the deeper southern parts were a little harder hit in terms of hay as well.
The hay yields did improve this year compared to last year. Certainly, I think they could be just a little bit better for some producers out there, but of course, it was nice to see that improvement, especially in the east, where they did get hit hard last year as well. But they've certainly increased their yield or their feed supplies, I should say. Whereas, that west, central, and southwest region got hammered again. Very poor hay crop, and a lot of producers are sitting in that inadequate to adequate for their feed supplies going into the winter. So hopefully they're able to acquire that feed that they need and to ensure that the cattle have enough feed throughout the winter. I know some producers are hauling long hours, either into Alberta or other parts of Saskatchewan to acquire that feed. So hopefully everybody has enough.
Thank you so much for all of your time throughout this entire year, Matt. And hopefully you also will be plenty busy throughout this winter month. And we'll talk to you once again in the spring.
Sounds good. Talk to you in a year.
Now, here are your agriculture prices for today. After weeks of practice and preseason play, the wait is over for the Rustlers men's basketball club to start their regular season. Our Adil Ahmed has a story.
The day has finally arrived for the Rustlers men's basketball program, the start of the regular season. The green and gold practiced Thursday night before they hit the road later this afternoon in a showdown with the Nate Ooks.
Every time we face Nate, it's always a grind, always a battle. Nate retained most of their team from last year, added a lot of new faces, but I think they're better, set than last year as far as personnel. So I'm expecting a battle. I'm expecting them to come out hard, especially first game being at their place. And I expect us to come out hard and match.
The Rustlers won the season series against the Ooks last year 2-1, holding them to just 45 points in their last matchup. The main message heading into tonight's game, being aggressive as a unit.
Don't match the intensity, create the intensity, so they have to match us. So from the jump, we got to just be on an attack and not be on a defend mode from the jump off.
And that might be easier said than done, especially considering how the team has 9 new faces on this year's roster. However, players like Baha Salma believe this group is hungrier than ever to win.
I feel like we have a lot of talent, and I feel like we can do some things, but I feel like the discipline that we have is not quite there yet, and I feel like we're just going to have to keep building upon that, and we'll get there. I feel like as long as we just work hard and stick to it.
Both the men and women will hit the road to face the Ooks in Edmonton tonight in a home-and-home series. You can catch the Rustlers here in their season opener tomorrow night. Adil Ahmed, Primetime, Local Sports.
Well, after their 5-3 loss at home against the Edmonton Junior Oilers, the Lloydminster Steelers will have a shot at redemption tomorrow night in Edmonton. The Steelers practice Friday morning before they hit the road for their first game away from the Service Sports Centre. Nearly 15 penalties were taken between both teams, so being disciplined is one thing the Steelers say they need to improve.
I think that we can work on our discipline and then playing a full 60 as a team. And I think our practices this week are good and they helped us prepare for the game tomorrow.
We're out of our own rink and it's kind of becoming real that we're in the season now. So I think the nerves have kind of settled. Everyone has made the team and now we're just excited to get to go through the season and see what it comes.
The Steelers will play the Junior Oilers tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. local time. And now for an extended look at weather across both provinces, here once again is Shelby Clark.
Thank you once again to Mr. Ian Tidswell for that introduction. Yes, now taking an extended look at both of our provinces here, we will be starting off with our central zone. And on the Alberta side, we have cooled down quite a bit. We all are seeing those single digits here. Very frustrating, a little bit sad, but you know what happens. You know, we're moving into the fall season, so I think we're all kind of prepared for it. Make sure you are layering up. Have your fall wardrobe ready because winter is going to be coming up pretty soon, so make sure to bust out those outfits now. Switching over to our Alberta side here, Rocky Mountain House in Red Deer seeing the coolest with that 3 and 5, and Athabasca at that 5 degrees as well. 6 degrees for Whitecourt and Edson and Jasper and Edmonton just at 7, so they are looking slightly warmer compared to the rest, but still seeing some cooler temperatures on the Alberta side. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, they are looking slightly warmer compared to Alberta side. Most seeing that 8 and 9 degree mark over on this end. 10 degrees over in North Battleford, while it is also 10 in Melfort, 11 down in Saskatoon, so Saskatoon is seeing the warmest. So some spots are seeing those double digits over on this side in our central area. But as we now go over to our northern zone, they are looking a lot more cooled down, just as we expected. Usually are seeing the coolest temperatures compared. 3 and 4 in the upper end here with Uranium City, Stony Rapids, and Wollaston Lake. We start to slightly warm up from there. Most are just seeing 5 degrees, and over in Flin Flon, they're just at 8. So definitely looking a lot more cooler over on this side. Flin Flon is seeing the warmest compared to the rest. Going back to our Alberta side here, they are slightly matching with us in our central zone with these temperatures. 8 degrees for Peace River and High Level, Grand Prairie, Slave Lake, both at 7 degrees, and is 3 for Fort McMurray and Fort Chipewyan, so they are looking the coolest compared. But the northern zone here is definitely looking a lot more cooled down, matching with us here in our central area. And going over to our southern zone, surprisingly, they aren't looking too much warmer than what we would expect. Usually we kind of expect this for them to maybe see those double digits, but they are kind of seeing those single digits matching with us. 4, 5, and 6 for Banff, Calgary, and Lethbridge. 7 and 8 for Coronation and Medicine Hat. So definitely looking a lot more cool down for today, just matching with us here. So unfortunately, fall season is here. Pretty sad to see, but you know, at least we're not seeing those minus temperatures just yet. And ending off with our Saskatchewan side as we look through the provinces, Regina and Yorkton are seeing the warmest conditions compared to the rest with that 10 and 13 degrees. So they are seeing those double digits. The rest are seeing those single digits matching with us as well. 6 and 7 for Swift Current and Estevan, while it is 9 in the rest with Moose Jaw and Kindersley. So over on this side, they are looking slightly warmer, kind of matching with our Saskatchewan side in our central area. But now looking at temperatures overnight and throughout the evening as we head into the weekend, we're going to be checking out some spots in our surrounding areas here. Meadow Lake will be expecting that low of 2, so they will still be seeing that plus temperature for their evening low, but cloudier conditions. The rest will be moving into those minus temperatures, unfortunately, but at least they're single digits. A low of -1 that Bonnyville and Isla Cross will be expecting. A low of -2 that Paradise Hill will be seeing tonight, and Provost will be going down to a low of -4. So we will be seeing some minuses, but at least they're not too bad, you know, better than those -30s and -40s. Looking at some more spots here, Murnum will be looking at a low of -2, as well as Wainwright and Calgary, so they will be seeing those minuses. Unity will be expecting the coolest with that low of -4, and Pearson will be just hitting that 0 point. And as we can see, most spots with Pearson, Murnum, and Calgary, they will be expecting a high chance of some rain, and even for Calgary, snow, a little bit of snow showers throughout the evening. So fortunate for Calgary, already expecting the S word. That's really sad to see, but you know, we're all going to be getting there soon. And ending off with our 7-day forecast for here in the border city. Tomorrow and Sunday, definitely cooling down for our weekend, just as we expected. And I was saying, so just be prepared, especially tomorrow. We will be seeing around a 80% chance of those showers, so make sure you got your umbrellas ready. Seeing a little bit more of a sunnier day on Sunday to end things off. And then starting off next week, we will be seeing some gloomier conditions on Monday and Tuesday, and then slightly warming up with that 6-7 for next Wednesday and Thursday, and cooling down once again next Friday. But on all 3 of those days to end it off, we'll be seeing a mixture of some sun and cloud. That's all I have for now. Our Ian Tidswell will have more news coming up after the break. We are joined here today, as usual, for this week's the best panel ever at the entertainment panel. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Abby.
Of course, thank you.
Of course, no problem. You know, we got a lot on the go today that we can speak about. Of course, you know, it's hard to narrow it down really to a couple topics, but big one right now, and of course we had to throw this in. This is Marvel. This is Marvel. But this top one is for Captain America 4. It's confirming recastable role with Harrison Ford.
Yes.
And that is huge because so many people are like, what? Like, he's literally coming into the MCU. And of course, for Captain America 4 New World Order, it's going to be replacing General Ross. And this is after William Hurt passed in March. Really sad. But, you know, people I think are thinking that this is going to be kind of a nice, I don't know, kind of a nice replacement, I guess, for that character, since he's going to be so important, of course, into Phase 5 with being kind of the creator of the Thunderbolts.
Yes, definitely. I'm very excited. Harrison Ford is an absolute legend, and I think fans all over are super excited about this. I haven't really seen anything negative about it.
Yeah, me neither, me neither.
You know, it is sad that they did have to recast after William Hurt passed away. He was fantastic as the role. So it's sad, but I don't think that they couldn't have picked a more perfect person to replace him. So yeah, he is the creator, or going to be involved in the Thunderbolts somehow, but we're gonna see him for the first time in Captain America 4, which is very exciting. And he's gonna be playing General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. There are rumors that this could be a Red Hulk introduction as well, because he does eventually become the Red Hulk in the comic books. So people are saying that this could be an introduction for the Red Hulk. But Harrison Ford, fantastic decision. And he's a legend. So we want legends in the MCU. I think that will just make it better. And
yeah, he like the way he's in so many other things like that are so memorable.
Exactly.
Right? So having him in the MCU at like his age now too, that people are kind of thinking, who knows what he's up to, just chilling, or what else he's in right now. So the fact that he's like, I'm coming to the MCU, I think a lot of people would be excited for that, and he'd be a good replacement. But some more that's going on other than Marvel, and this one is, I know this one you're not excited to talk about.
This one is straight out of my nightmares.
Yeah, but it's, you know, of course it's for Halloween coming up here, and I've just like, looks like it's gonna be pretty freaky.
Yes.
Especially the fact that it's like a futuristic doll, and I think that's a lot of people are pretty scared of that. You know, you can watch Black Mirror with some of the stuff they have going on that show, and you're like, I never thought of that. And then now, you know, we are seeing how, you know, advanced technology is getting into. So now seeing this movie that has to do with an AI doll that turns pretty murderous, that's terrifying, but it looks like it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I blame Chucky for my fear of dolls, so I'm not okay. So yes, Megan is an AI doll. So the story follows that this girl, Emily, she loses her parents, and her aunt takes custody of her. And her aunt has been working on creating the perfect toy. That's her goal in life. And so she created Megan, an AI lifelike doll that can walk, that can talk, that can move. There's parts of the trailer where she's dancing, which freaks me out so bad.
That part made me laugh so much with the dancing. I'm like, where did this come from?
Now the point of this doll is to not only be a friend to their owner, but also protect them and keep them safe. That becomes an issue when Megan becomes violently overprotective of Emily. It didn't seem like there's a ton of jump scares, but just the way Megan interacts with everybody around her is just so freaky, and how lifelike she actually is. It isn't coming out till January 13th, so you got a little bit of time to get mentally prepared to watch this movie, but it looks generally terrifying, and I wish everybody the best of luck when they go see this movie.
Well, we got it on record here. Abby is definitely not watching it. This is evidence, this is proof. I think it is super genius how they have it as advanced technology of like, not just a doll, this is actually like what's happening nowadays. We've seen it, we've seen what they're doing with robots and trying to create them, of like actually making humans and all that to be helpful for people, blah, blah, blah. But robots are like black or white, and life is not like that. There's a lot of gray areas, a lot of exceptions, and robots aren't gonna ever understand that. Like, unless you be trying to, like, I don't know why they have to try and do this, but it's just proving right there. And I think it is interesting the fact that it's like, protect her, but I am trying to feed her vegetables, which is healthy. But,
Yeah.
you know, once the kid is, Emily is like, no, I don't want it. And then, you know, Aunt is trying to force it on her just because it's good for her. Then all of a sudden, Robot's like, nope.
You're
so
gone.
just proves right there you're done. I think it's going to be great.
I'll definitely be seeing them in my nightmares.
Yeah. Sounds good. We got it right there.
Yeah.
She's not seeing it ever. But that's all the time we have for this week's entertainment panel. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Abby.
Of course, thank you.
Hey, it's Jace Mackey here with a look at some upcoming community events. Calling all sports memorabilia fans, the first annual Border City Sports Card Show is taking place this Saturday from noon to 5 at Border City Games. You'll be able to buy, trade, and sell cards with other collectors, and there'll be giveaways. Slay the Day Youth Organization is hosting a community family dance here at Grace United Church. There's also going to be a haunted house experience taking place Saturday at 7 p.m. And while admission is free, they're asking guests to bring a donation for Lloydminster and Vermilion for Equity's Fall Street Team fundraiser. And finally, on Wednesday, October 26th, it's time to experience Harvest gourmet style with the Harvest Festival taking place at the Lloyd X. Tickets are $30 and include 4 food and drink tickets. Now, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and have fun.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.